Welcome to the Glow Getters podcast. My name is Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, and I'm your host. I teach and inspire leaders to step into their productive selves and find their true potential. I'm a passionate creative and scientist with over 8 years of healthcare leadership experience. At age 25, I stepped into my first management role and didn't find the leadership advice I was looking for. So here I'm giving you the tools to end burnout and enjoy a vibrant career and life. Glad you're here to learn and grow with me. Now, on with the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the Glow Getters podcast or my YouTube channel. I'm Kayla. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to coach on leadership today or mindset or any of that. I want to talk about something that people ask me to talk about, which is my IVF that I did. But I'm going to talk more specifically about insurance coverage. I'm not prepared today to talk about why things are broken and what we can do about it. But I do want to share with you what you can do to find coverage. So let me back up. You can go back and there are 2 videos on my YouTube channel about my ectopic pregnancies. I've had 2. I had one in 2019 and one in 2020. It was the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Anyways, I met a friend online and she told me about mini IVF, which is basically a cycle of IVF where it's not as invasive. My issues are not having to do with my ovaries or my egg production or any of that. It's probably more like mechanical or some structural issue inside, just making sure that the egg goes in the right spot or the embryo, I guess. And so I had never considered IVF, but when I started looking at the prices, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a new car. Like, I don't know if our family can afford that in this season of life, but we want another child. So, I found out that my insurance was taken at local IVF and fertility centers in my area. And so I was like, okay, cool. This will be great because I do have infertility coverage. And so then I called them and I heard this crazy message from different groups like, oh, well, some procedures and things are covered under this tax ID. And that's the one that, we take your insurance and it's covered and your benefits will apply. But this tax ID is the actual IVF, which by the way is like the most expensive part of the treatment, like the procedures, but that's under a different tax ID and we do not accept your insurance coverage for that. Oh, okay, right? So I was really, really disappointed. I remember calling and then going to tell my husband and I was just like crying because I'm like, it's still going to be like $20,000. I'm really discouraged. So I was talking to my friend and she's like, hey, the clinic I went to was out of state. If you flip your insurance card over, because most of you probably have like a local insurance provider. I work for healthcare systems. They own their own insurance brand or organization. But if you flip it over, most insurance providers have nationwide coverage. So out of state, right? And so essentially it's part of a larger collective insurance group that gives you coverage. Say you go on a trip and you hurt yourself and you need to go into the hospital and end up somewhere out of state. You still want to have some kind of coverage. So you can find in-network coverage outside of your normal like region or area, like the doctors that you normally would be seeing in your network locally. So I ended up going out of state. If you want to know where I went, I will let you know. If you want to message me on Instagram at Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt. I'm not sharing it on here publicly because I'm not like I don't want to advertise for the clinic or anything. I think you should do your own research and really like make sure it feels right for you. But I will share it if you ask me. But it was in New York. So as you can imagine, there's probably a lot of places in New York. And I just thought, this is nuts. Like, I'm going to fly to New York or travel to New York and do IVF at this clinic. How insane. But guess what? They took my insurance as like in-network coverage. So it's like the same as if I was going to my local family doctor, but it's covered under that broader umbrella of that nationwide insurance. So that's how we were able to afford IVF. We didn't pay like $20,000. Maybe in a later video, I can actually pull together the numbers. But we were able to pay for most of it out of our health savings account that we contribute to every single month when we get paid, which was amazing. And there was a like $9,000 charge that our insurance covered, and I think we owed like $600 after that. So that was amazing. Not to mention the clinic I went to had pretty good pricing compared. So like shop around, but also make sure that you feel comfortable and that you trust and it's clean and it's regulated and all that. But we couldn't have done it if we had to do, pay a lot of out of pocket. And then also, we are fortunate that it worked with one cycle, because really it was creating an embryo from my husband's sperm and my egg, putting it in the right spot, and it took. A lot of people have different issues and it doesn't work. So they're doing multiple cycles of in vitro fertilization, which, as you can imagine, costs so much money. So really, when people have asked me about insurance, what I'll say is call or go online. Your insurance coverage, you can go on their website, and then you can look at the out-of-state coverage that you would have through that like national collective like umbrella coverage that you have. So turn over the back of your card and look at it. Mine was Aetna. I believe it's like AENTA, Aetna, TNA, something like that. Check yours out and see what it is and find their website, and then call the number on your insurance card and confirm what services and things are covered and what is not. And then when you are scouting out an IVF place or fertility clinic, ask them for their fee schedule and ask for an itemized list of what everything is called and how much it costs. And you can share and ask your insurance provider, like, here's what they're calling it. Would that be covered? And you can never ask enough questions. I think it can be really embarrassing, or you feel like it's hard to feel like you know the right lingo or whatever. Throw that out the window. Just ask so many questions, and you'll find that people are usually really helpful if you just kind of ask them to reiterate for you. Talking to insurance is never fun, but don't stop. We kept getting this bill for the $9,000 like 2 or 3 times. I called my insurance provider. I'm like, it doesn't even look like they ran this through insurance. Did the claim go through? And the last time I called, the person was like, they denied it, but it does look like these services are covered. Let me bring this up to the whatever coverage department again and see if they can rerun the claim. So they did, and then it came back covered. So it's like unfortunately, it's not an easy system to navigate. So don't stop. Stay in communication with your insurance provider. Keep calling, keep asking questions. Ask your fertility clinic, what does this thing mean? What's covered under this ambiguous title? Because if it's not line itemed, it can get confusing and you might be thinking it's covered when it's not. They're going to try to have you do testing, and it's really up to you, like which tests you have done, genetic screening, all of that. And some of that's not covered by insurance. So you just need to be really mindful about your coverage options, but know that you have access to this broader network. And you can do your research online. There are plenty of Facebook groups and Instagram groups on IVF and which clinics are good. And you can ask for personal recommendations and reviews from different people. But yeah, so that's how we made it affordable. From $25,000 to $4,000, maybe plus or minus. I don't know the exact figures. I'd have to go look, but we didn't pay for a new car. We didn't. It's just, I will do another video on how women's health coverage and how the inequities are stark. And when you think about fertility and the price gouging and then the gaslighting that happens over the phone when they say, well, this is the best clinic, are you sure? That system needs to change. So anyways, I hope that helps some of you. Probably created more questions than answers. But if you want to have a conversation, just message me at Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt on Instagram, and I'm totally happy to talk with you one-on-one more about my experience. Okay, take care, everybody.
All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to the Glow Getters podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give me a good rating and review. I would so much appreciate all the good feedback you have for me. If you like this content and you want to get some more of it, maybe even see me and watch some videos, you can check out my YouTube channel. Just search Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt and you should be able to find my channel, which I call the Leadership Collaborative, which has tons of great information on leadership and tells you a little bit more about my Leadership Collaborative community that is always enrolling at the end of each month. All right, everyone, thanks so much again. I hope you stay well and safe. Be a light. Talk soon. Bye.